5 underrated date ideas that you need to be incorporating into your upcoming dates. I'm gonna go through each one of these, and I'm also gonna break down some pros and cons of each one, as well as how I would structure out these dates properly. I tried to throw in a variety of different concepts, so there's a little bit in here for everybody. So if the first or second one doesn't resonate with you, my goal is that everybody can walk away from this video with at least 1 to 2 new unique date ideas that can work for you, regardless of where you're at in the world or what you're into. So let's get into the first one, and we'll start working our way down this list. Starting off with date number 1, which is A. Starting off with date number 1, which is Cava Bar. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Cava bars, these are places where they serve non-alcoholic drinks such as Cava and Kratom, which give an interesting type of effect. This is something I didn't really try up until about a year ago, but Cava and Kratom give this almost euphoric, slightly tipsy type effect to you, which is great for my guys that aren't really trying to drink. If you're trying to give up alcohol, or you're not trying to consistently take girls out to the bars, or if you're dating a lot and you don't want to be drinking multiple times a week, I think going to a Cava bar is a great alternative to this, because essentially you still get that little buzz type of feeling. There's zero hangover. It's also a lot less expensive. And also, the reason I really like the Cava Bar is like, this is a unique experience. Like, most girls haven't really done this. So you're already providing like a different, unique experience. So some of the Cava bars are just kind of like a sit down place, and it's almost like a cafe, which is okay. That's cool if that's all you have. But also, some of these spots have really unique, fun environments. Like the one over by me, they have a bunch of games there. So you could go down, you kind of look at the menu. You could even take a shot of just straight Cava, or they make mixed drinks of Kratom. And that alone will create a little bit of a euphoric, tipsy-like experience without it being too overwhelming. But then also you get to play some games, so you can move around the venue, and like there's different board games, and they have card games, and they even have like this video game system. So that could be a really cool idea. Now, I want to talk about some of the do's and don'ts around this too, because I wouldn't recommend just going to one of these if it's a really like lame place where it's just a cafe and they literally just serve them, because you're gonna get the drink, and if you just stay there, it could be very underwhelming. So try to find one that has like a unique, fun atmosphere to it. Or if you don't have that, then you go here as a means of getting the drink. You can try out the drink, but then you can also bounce to another location nearby, like getting the Cava or getting the Kratom, drinking it there, trying some different flavors, and then if nothing else, actually going on a walk or going to another location can make this a more fun experience. What I would recommend staying away from though is overconsumption of this, because the second time I went to try it, I really enjoyed it the first time. So I actually had an even bigger serving of the Kratom in the mixed drink. And honestly, if you have too much of this, it can actually create like a nausea type effect. So I would recommend do this. It's really fun. It can be unique. Just don't go crazy with it. Almost similar to alcohol in a sense, because too much of it could actually lead to a slightly negative impact. But Cava Bar, Kratom bars, definitely fun, alcohol-free, less expensive, more healthy alternatives that could still create that same date type of effect that would only be done with the use of alcohol otherwise. Okay, so number 1 is going to be Cava Bar. Now let's get into number 2, which is going to be pottery or arts and crafts. Arts and crafts, Kyle, isn't that kind of gay? Hear me out on this one, okay? We're not going to some like crazy arts and crafts spot and like drawing rainbows and like going over the top with this stuff. But I have been to some of these places with my girlfriend, and they're actually pretty cool ideas. Like, I was back in New York not too long ago, and the one that we went to, we walked in the spot, really big, open arts and crafts type place. I have been to a pottery spot too, which was a little different, but the main one I'm talking about was, it was a really big adult arts and crafts type place. And when you walk in, they put you at your own little table. They have a menu that has like 5 different arts and crafts that you could choose from. One of them is like, you pick out either like a bowl or a plate or some type of item and you could paint them. Other ones you could make different bracelets. They also had like drawing and stencils one, and they also had like painting. So each person can pick out one item from the menu. They then give you the supplies. You walk around the place and pick out the different materials that you want to use. And then also they serve different drinks there. They actually served Cava, Kratom. They also had THC drinks. They had CBD drinks, but they were also just serving alcohol there too. So in my opinion, you actually can have like both of these in one. Obviously, most of you guys don't have that, but I thought that was a really cool spot. Not because I'm big into arts and crafts. I'm not really good with any of that. I like to draw a little bit, but it's cool for a couple different reasons. Number one, there's movement to the date. There's something going on other than you guys just talking. It is intimate. It is relatively quiet aside from like the crowd and a little bit of background music. So you guys get a lot of intimacy, a lot of time to talk privately. You're sitting next to each other, but you're also going to be creating this thing together, which is fun. It's a different experience. And that's really good for a date, because if you're just sitting across the table from somebody and just doing like some interview type of date, there's no movement, there's nothing exciting going on, there's no memorable experience from that other than the conversation. Things like this create still an opportunity to have that amazing conversation, create that connection, but there's movement, there's different locations within these venues that you guys can move around and do this activity simultaneously. And on top of that, it also gives you an opportunity if you want to have like a drink or two. I'm not big into drinking. I just did over a year, no alcohol, no weed, no nicotine. So I'm trying to show you guys dates other than alcohol related things. Although if you want to stack that on top, obviously that could be even more fun. But the last reason this is really powerful too is because you'll finish the date with an item. You'll leave the place and you guys built this thing. Pardon my shitty ass electrical tape, but this, you leave the place with a memory together, right? So if you guys both made something, she's gonna go home with her memory, even though it's like a cheesy, quirky thing and it's kind of funny, but honestly, a lot of women like to do little arts and crafts things, and the whole date isn't you fucking painting. You're still running a date, but there's also this 10% other thing going on, and you're left with a cool memory, and she has a memory of you now too. So honestly, like if the date was well and she'll anchor those emotions into this item, and then this item is lingering at her house, and it could be a cute little thing that she likes. So that is actually a really powerful one. The pottery class that I went to, it wasn't as prime for a first date as the arts and crafts one was. This is something more like you could bring a girl you've already been going on dates with. Maybe you went on a bunch of dates and you just want to do something different. The pottery thing can be cool. It was a unique experience. I probably wouldn't do it again personally. It just wasn't for me. I just wanted to throw it in there because it could work for some people. Not really my personal preference, but if you're gonna do this, do your research ahead of time and try to pick a place that has a nice wide open place that has different options for the arts and crafts that you could do. Maybe they serve drinks or they serve other things or they play music in the background. All of that can add to the ambiance and the vibe and make this a really cool date idea. Also, when you're doing these, it creates an opportunity for you to meet up with the girl ahead of time. It's unlikely she's gonna meet you at the arts and crafts place. She can, but most likely what's gonna happen is she's gonna meet over by your place and then you guys are gonna drive there, or you're gonna go pick her up and then drive there, which is also good because even when this ends, you're in a position to leave the place together and you could also then bounce to another location. So that's date number 2. Now we still got 3 different dates to go, all different unique concepts that I'm really excited to get into. But if you're somebody that's not even really going on enough dates, you're not getting into enough conversations with women, you're not talking to the quality of women that you actually want in your life, I'd love to help you transform your dating life. You can click the link down below this and watch the in-depth training I've put together. I talk more about my journey, the clients I help, and the structure to my coaching program. So if you're interested in achieving your dream dating life, I'd love to help you make that transformation. Click the link down below, check out that video. Now let's get into the next one. Underrated date idea number 3, coffee. What is this, Kyle? Why coffee? Now hear me out for this one, okay? Because although the idea of coffee does commonly come up around date ideas, I don't think most men actually utilize the idea of coffee to go on dates. And as somebody who just completed 365 days of no alcohol, coffee is a great date opportunity if you do it right. There's a right way and a wrong way, and I think most men actually run the idea of coffee as a date very poorly, because what you don't want to do is very similar to the Cava Bar, where you just meet at the cafe, you sit down across from each other, you guys get your coffee, you have a really pleasant interaction about coffee, and you sit there for maybe an hour to 2 hours, and then that's the whole date. Most men don't know how to convert a coffee date successfully because they run it in that fashion. The coffee date is powerful for 2 different reasons, in my opinion. Number 1, the reason it's initially powerful is because every girl likes coffee. And if you're in a good interaction, the idea of meeting up for a coffee is a very low investment idea. It's almost as if you're not even asking her out on a real date. It's a very low investment thing. So you will get a lot of women that are down to go grab a coffee. It's a very casual, low investment idea. And you can leverage that on the front end to get women to come and meet up with you for a sober daytime activity. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to just sit there for 2 hours across the table just having a pleasant coffee date. You utilize the idea of coffee as a means of meeting up because it's very inexpensive. It's like $5 or $10 depending on what city you're living in, right? But it's a very inexpensive thing that you could do as a means of meeting up, and then you quickly move to the next location. So the idea of coffee as a standalone date, I don't like that at all. I really don't. But I do think coffee's underrated because most men don't actually leverage it to meet up with women. You want to link this to a next location and then really to like a third location. So the coffee is a great tool to start a date. I wouldn't do it as a standalone thing, like kind of how I would with the arts and crafts or one of these items too that we'll get to in a second. But it's a great first location, and you can have 2 to 3 locations that you bounce to. And then you go to the third location. Each one of these is like 30 to 60 minutes each. Okay, that actually adds a lot of movement to the day too. So you guys meet for coffee, you grab the coffee, maybe get a little croissant or something, and then you guys walk. You drink the coffee and you go for a walk, right? Then you go sit down somewhere outside and finish the coffee. Then you go check out some view, and then from there you bounce to go get like a cookie or an ice cream or a boba tea, or you just go to another location after that. So again, coffee by itself, I don't like that at all. Very stale, very flat, not gonna really have that much. But as a means of starting a date and then bouncing to a second and third location, so you have a bunch of quick little bursts. Now we have a bunch of different environments, different seating at each environment, different opportunities to lead, different things to talk about at each location. And that's actually what makes coffee very, very effective. I would even argue it could potentially be better than going out to dinner, like sitting down at a dinner table the whole time. You're kind of tied into being at that table for like at least an hour and a half or 2 hours. This could be framed in a very short way, and then you go to the next spot, and then you go to the next spot. So definitely a very underrated date idea. Now let's move into date number 4, which is mini golf or bowling. Now the idea of mini golf actually is pretty common. I don't think it's used that much because, again, I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. There's this recurring theme that you see with each one of these is like the place, the vibe, the environment, the ambiance of the location that you're running each activity really can make or break the date. So you need to do a little bit of research in your area, because I could show you a Cava Bar that's amazing for a date. I could show you a Cava Bar that's shit for a date. Same thing with arts and crafts, same thing with the coffee spot, same thing with the bowling or the mini golf. So let me show you guys what spots of these would be really good. Now, when it comes to mini golf, one particular spot that sticks out in my mind in New York City, there's this underground golf course place. It's called Swingers, which is a really funny title actually, but it's a really great location for a variety of different reasons. Because the first thing is when you get there, it's a really unique venue. You walk in and then suddenly you have to go underground. Like it doesn't look like it from the outside, but then the moment you go underground, it's this wide open, almost like warehouse type thing that's really, really big. There's a lot of people in there. There's music playing in the background. And then when you get down there, you're gonna have to wait about 20 to 40 minutes actually until you can start your round of golf. It fills up a lot. So while you wait though, they have different food spots and different bar stations spread out throughout the entire place. There's like 3 different golf course areas and 2 different spots for you to sit down and socialize, and even like a bar area where you can interact. So that's really, really cool because number one, it's a unique, different experience. Like I was saying about the Cava place, the environment is set up for like a nighttime vibe. There is an opportunity there if you wanted to actually get drinks, or if nothing else, while you wait, you go sit down, you talk to the girl, you guys connect there, you go over to the more social bar type area, you could actually socialize with a bunch of people. And then there's just a lot of movement to the golf itself. Right? You guys are gonna hit the first one. It's a competitive game that's ongoing, that you're doing this thing together. So there's constantly different locations. There's unique, fun things to talk about at each hole of the game. And then also, even when you're done, you guys can just hang out there, and it kind of turns into the next date idea, which is like you guys just kind of going out for a drink or going out for food. So a venue like that is incredible, like awesome date idea. The other place that might be kind of whack is like a really shitty mini golf that's outside and the weather's not good and it's kind of just quiet and it's like pretty whack. So mini golf, again, depends on the place that you're going to. And then same thing with bowling. I know some bowling alleys that are pretty much just very basic bowling alleys, which can be okay, but I've also been to other ones. There's one in Miami that's really dope, and there was also a cool one in Brooklyn that I went to. Both of these had a bunch of other games at the bowling spot. So it's not like you just walk in and you're just all about bowling and you just play bowling. It was more like you could walk in before you go there. There's like an arcade section. There's a bunch of games there. There's a bar there. There's another social like area that you could go to. So there's a bunch of other locations within the venue that you can also go to. And just like mini golf, it's like you could just do the one course and then you take a break and then you go do the other one. Same thing with bowling. It's probably going to take maybe like 30 minutes for you guys to play one game of bowling. You could take a break, you go explore the rest of the venue, you play some games, you go grab a drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic drinks, you get a bite to eat, you guys sit down, you have a little bit more intimate conversation, you go back, you play another game, and that also can create this competitive fun nature with all of these different things that still allows you to have some privacy, have some intimacy, allows you guys to like sit next to each other in different positions of seating. And for all those reasons, especially the competitive nature, if you guys are more into sports and you like competitive stuff, then I would also recommend mini golf or bowling. And now let's get into the last one, which is a unique concept I haven't really talked about before. Date number 5, the idea of a progressive dinner. Now what that means is you're gonna go to multiple locations throughout the date to have different courses of the dinner itself. So if you have like a 5-course meal, you don't just sit down across from each other at the table and you just order a bunch of food and pig the fuck out. Really, you're gonna find a bunch of different places you could go to, and you have that first little bit of finger food at the first spot. You order 1 or 2 of those. Then you go to another place and you have like slightly bigger appetizer if you want. Then you could go to a third spot. I wouldn't have a massive meal because at this point you're gonna be stuffed, but you could go to a third spot and actually try out a different piece of food. And that could either be dessert, or if you guys wanna go to a 4th spot even, you could then even have like dessert or coffee or tea. I'd probably recommend the 4th spot actually being like a coffee or something. That way you're not just tired and pig the fuck out. The whole point of progressive dinner is not to have 5 meals and then you're just massively stuffed and catch the itis and want to pass out. The point of the progressive dinner is it's fun. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of movement throughout the date, which means a bunch of different opportunities for you to lead, for you guys to go into different locations, for you guys to try out different things, and collectively, all together, again, it is a fun, unique experience for you and the girl. Because with each one of these guys, if it's a unique experience that she hasn't seen before, or it's a lot of fun, and it's more than just conversation, and on top of that, there's multiple locations and just movement. Man, all of those things combined into a date is what really makes it powerful. So I think personally, all of these are really good. And you could even just take the concepts from these dates and use them into your next date. It doesn't even need to be at these locations doing these things, but there's a lot of concepts that I described in each one of these. And you could probably take at least 1 or 2 of these concepts and inject it into your next date, or at least part of the date, as a means of bouncing from one location to the next. So use this in your upcoming dates to start having more fun, more different, more unique experiences. Now, having a good concept for a date is great, but if you're not actually running the date step by step properly, it's not gonna go anywhere. So be sure to watch this video right here on how to run the first date step by step so you crush that next date. Or if you're done watching content and you actually want real results in your own life, you can work with me directly to achieve your dream dating life. Click the link down below, check out the brand new in-depth video I put together talking more about my journey, the clients I help, and how I can help you achieve your dream dating life right now. Click the link down below. That's all for this video, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.